Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Role Model Experts Cafe. I'm your host, Dr. L, the Parent Whisperer, and today with me, I have an amazing lady, Dr. Mary Zennett. Did I say that correctly, Mary?
Yes. Thank you,
Very cool.
Dr. L.
Dr. Zennett, can you tell our audience members what you focus on and why this should be something that should be on their radar? I love how you show up in the world. I've had an opportunity to see you a couple of times, and I'm really glad to have you here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, Dr. L, you might know my background. I a child psychiatrist, and I've been practicing for 35 years, and now I'm evolving into holistic mental health.
Awesome.
So the bottom line is there's so much that there's resources that parents need to have to help their children have optimal self-esteem. And today it's harder than ever. I have such empathy for parents. It's like, oh my God, we're bombarded with so much.
Right.
And what we're trying to do, we're doing a 6-week seminar to help parents in the current environment. It's how do you support your children and really help them with their self-esteem when you've got all kind of competing distractions?
Right.
And I'm not criticizing social media, but it's a huge distraction. And the truth is, when parents have the guidance and when they understand and they can be proactive, they can help limit the potentially negative influences on their child's self-esteem and support them in a positive and encouraging way.
Right. So, Dr. Mary, this is something that is really, really important. Mental health is a big issue. Personally, I find it that while I was in private practice, and even more so after I came out of private practice, the fact that the resilience of children for criticism or for any kind of environmental interaction is decreasing quite a bit. And it's very concerning because when you have this reduced resilience, what ends up happening is you can end up acting out or responding in ways that could be destructive, not only to yourself, but to those around you. And of course, what you're describing is at the heart of this, that having this strong self-image and the confidence to be able to know that there is support for you, that people love you, that there are people outside that care for you, and that you've got all the tools that you need inside of you. And if you have challenges, you can reach out. These are all really important stuff. So how did you get involved in this, especially moving from what you were doing before to now this preventative whole?
Well, I'll tell you just a brief snippet of my background. I had the privilege 15 years ago of doing some natural health research. And these are children that had lots of mental health issues. And we saw the benefits. The benefits were profound. So then quietly, it led me to continue that study. And now I realize, yes, the nutrition, optimal nutrition is critical, but it's also our thoughts, our words, the little things that make all the difference in the world, and how children need undivided attention. Now think about it. You're busy, I'm busy, but if we're on our cell phone all the time and we're back and forth, well, what message is our child getting?
Exactly.
It creates a lot of anxiety. And I'll be honest with you, Dr. L, I've observed, I said, if it's to a severe degree, it can lead to incomplete attachment. And then that's a root of a lot of mental health conditions. It's like scrolling, anxiety. So we support our parents, we come alongside them and encourage them. It's like, hey, we know parenting is probably one of the hardest jobs out there, but it can be the most rewarding. And there's just simple strategies. And ours is very experiential. We've got a lot of workbooks, worksheets. We encourage the parents to then spend unconditional time with their children with a hands-on approach. So yeah, we're very encouraged. We've heard some early, very positive feedback, and we're really looking forward to getting this out there to
Awesome.
parents. Then the children are gonna, at the end of the 6 weeks, they are going to perform their own play. Parent will help them create creatively,
Right.
you know, with characters, this and that. So it's a team, it's a family endeavor.
Awesome. Awesome. So what are some of the challenges that you see parents come to you complaining about facing or actually have to change in order to start giving this and the attention that it deserves?
Well, several things. Number one, we're all busy, right? Even if you're working from home, we're all busy. So establishing boundaries, like there's work at home, you have your work time, but then you're able to shut it down. And then when you're with your child, you have time to listen and be with them unconditionally. And at all times, the child needs to feel how much they're loved,
Mhm.
that they're so important. And let's face it, why do parents do all the things they do? They want to raise healthy children. So we teach parents that. We talk about social media. There's a time and a place for it, but there's also a time to shut it down.
Right.
We don't want to hear the kids are up at night scrolling. There's a lot of research that demonstrates this is not healthy for children. And we get into more little tips and strategies like that to really help empower the parents. And it'll be experiential. They'll get a workbook, an empowerment workbook, and then at the end, the children will perform the play, which we're already excited about, and celebrate them and celebrate their success.
I love that. I love that. One of the things that I oftentimes hear is it's not just necessarily the information, because like over time we have been told, hey, you got to take a break. You can't go to bed just on your screen and all that stuff. But implementing it is difficult. Sometimes implementation is difficult. And you're right. Sometimes you need the support from a group, from a mastermind. Sometimes you need the accountability. But what would be some of the tips that you might have? One or two things that our audience members could actually implement right after watching this?
Absolutely. Well, one thing, children pick up on everything. We tell parents, if you are in the other room, suppose you're having a heated conversation in the other room, your child hears your tone, even if they don't understand what it's about. They're listening. It's, you know how we used to be taught listening with a third ear?
Correct.
They hear this, and then it affects them. So we work with parents is your tone, your body posture, all the time. So you parents will say, well, gee, that's hard. It is. But the rewards are incredible. And listen, active listening, foster their creativity and quiet time, Dr. L. I'm sure you've heard it. I hear it. We live in a very noisy world, okay? There's stuff coming at us constantly.
Right.
But have quiet time. So if your child is quiet, it doesn't mean they're not active. It gives the time for the mind and the spirit to recharge and rejuvenate.
That is foundational. That is so important. We are so often like just cramming in more learning, more content, more learning, more content. And we forget that that quiet time, that meditation time is actually when creativity, imagination flourishes. And that's where the child actually develops their personality. And without that, you end up with adults that don't know what they stand for and what they stand against. So it's so important.
Exactly. And we call it planting the seeds. That quiet time is planting the seeds.
Right.
And then those seeds take root And actually, it's character building.
Right.
A
Exactly.
lot of what this is about.
Very well. Well said. Well said. Dr. Mary, I know this is brief and I know you have a very busy schedule. Tell us and our audience members, how can they connect with you? I know that finding connections, forming support is a very important part of parenting. Teaching kids that they're not alone is very important, role modeling that behavior. So how can people find out more about you and connect with you?
Okay. Probably the best way is email me, and I'll give you my email. It's real easy. It's drmaryz at hushmail.com. hushmail.com. I am on Facebook. I have a growing Facebook community and would love to connect you there, Mary Zennett. And I have a LinkedIn page as well. So any of those would be wonderful. And I truly would welcome hearing from you. And thank you, Dr. L. Thank you so much for giving me the privilege to be here today.
My pleasure. So our audience members, I definitely encourage you to reach out via email or social media, Facebook, to or LinkedIn with Dr. Zennett. Her information is going to be in the description box as well, in case you didn't get to catch it while you were listening. It's in the description. Please go ahead and connect. Don't do this alone. You know, we don't get a parenting owner's manual, and it's best to have a support network to reach out to and to role model that behavior for the children as well. And if you haven't already done so, make sure that you click subscribe to the channel so you get the notifications on the latest experts and the gifts and the treasures that they bring to you guys. And we'll go from there. Dr. Mary, any final words before we finish our session today?
Well, you did a great job, Dr. L. And again, I welcome the parents. This is a team effort. Again, our children's self-esteem is absolutely foundational, and it takes all of us.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, guys. Until next time. Cheers.
All right. Thank you so much.